Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. As always, when you leave a like, when you leave a comment, or when you subscribe, all of these things do help out the channel immensely. Very big thank you to everyone out there who has been supporting the channel, or to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. And without further ado, let's jump right into it, because as always, there's a lot to cover. After a weekend of relentless losses, crypto's two top coins made marginal recoveries on Sunday, rising above $20,000 and $1,000 respectively. Bitcoin has recovered by just over 15% in the last 24 hours, rebounding from a shockingly low $17,000 yesterday to $20,000 at the time of writing. According to data from CoinMarketCap, Ether, which plummeted to $898 yesterday, has recovered by over 25% in the last day to $1,130 at the time of writing. I'm not sure if you were looking at prices. Usually on the weekend, I'll tell you the truth, I tend not to look at prices, and I would also slightly recommend that you do the same. I know a lot of people have a great affinity to constantly looking at prices. I do not think this is the healthiest thing in the entire world, because it does wear your brain down if you're constantly looking. I had a friend, I don't think he watches the channel, but he's heavily into crypto and NFTs, and he was looking at prices. He told me at some point like 15 times a day. Like, he said he woke up, looked at prices, used the bathroom, look at prices, making breakfast. Like, it was constant over and over and over. And I was like, just cool it down a little tiny bit. I decided to see what was going on in the market yesterday, and I was like, whoa, what in the world happened? For some reason, everything had begun to collapse. And I mean, like, a really weird, something triggered it. Everything fell down. I told you all before, I was expecting, still am expecting a $12,000, $13,000 Bitcoin, because it's not as dramatic as where we were 2 years ago when we hit 3,000 and Ethereum fell down to 200 or 300. It just seems slightly believable at this point, as we keep getting people from Wall Street talking about recession, depression, hyper bear market going to be going on for months. You've all heard the entire thing. And I looked at prices and I was like, what? This is it. Like, this is clearly the moment where we are going to hit complete rock bottom, and then begin to potentially, in like a week or two or three, begin to move back up. And then I looked a little bit later, because everyone was texting me about it, and for some reason the entire market had it was not even a rebound, it was like a skyrocket. The lines were just going completely straight up, and all the prices had begun to, like, Bitcoin, it says 15%. I think I saw 17, 18% at some point. There were many other altcoins that were up around like 25, 35%, and I was like, what in the world actually happened? The price fluctuations mark at least a temporary reprieve from stark downward trajectories over the last month. Last Sunday, Bitcoin fell below 26,000 for the first time in a year, a negative milestone that triggered a massive sell-off. Yesterday, Bitcoin fell below 20,000, then 19, then 8, yeah, that's how it works, and then 18,000 all in a single day. That's how you get to 17,000, by passing by those numbers. Ethereum declined fairly consistently alongside Bitcoin, falling to 898 by yesterday afternoon, a striking drop of over 46% in just a week. I'm not really, I think it's just simple mass liquidations across the market that seems, once again, not only in stocks, but in bonds and mutual funds and yada, 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 but also the cryptocurrency space is also not immune to this. It seems just massive liquidations, people selling, seem to be the exact reason as to why prices have been going down by so much, because a 46% drop in 1 week is completely unwarranted, especially for the largest blockchain that we have on the planet, meaning Ethereum, as it is the most used one, Bitcoin being the oldest blockchain. But there's clearly, just a staggering amount of fear across all markets. So you cannot, at least at this moment, really blame people for trying to recover some type of money, simply because the global economic outlook does not look too good. However, a large portion of the price news was, hey, things are looking pretty okay. It says Bitcoin and Ethereum inch higher, but downtrend remains intact. Altcoins rally. This one says Ethereum recovery could gain pace if it clears this resistance. The idea is that if Ethereum goes above 1,200 and stays above $1,200, that'll be the key thing that'll cause it to recover. That's not what's happening in the world right now. Because once again, if you are either new here, hello, or if you have missed videos over the last 15, 16 days, I know it can happen. I know people don't have to watch every single day. But just so you are aware, the world's economy is collapsing in rapid succession. There are a number of countries who we get news about quite often. A lot of times I don't feel the need to constantly enter X country here into the video, but a lot of countries, inflation rates are above 25, 35, 45%. Even newer countries that we've been hearing about before. The economic outlook does look absolutely terrible. A lot of people are saying that by September, October-esque, we could be back in heavy recession territory. The guy from, what's his face? The guy who doesn't like us regardless. The guy from the movie The Big Short, the really smart guy in the movie, the one who's like in the room, like twiddling the pen, listening to rock music the entire time. The real guy in real life has said that he's expecting some like a stock market crash worse than 2008, 2009. And he's like, people have no idea what's actually coming. And I believe it. At this, once again, we are well overdue for an actual correction in the stock market. And I think it's just going to be a bit of a doozy, if you will. I looked around for stock comparisons as I normally do, as there's such a huge amount of correlation between the cryptocurrency market and the stock market, at least over the last year. They seem to be neck and neck when it comes to things going on. Surprisingly enough, as it is very early here, the only markets that have opened up at the moment are the markets in India and certain parts of Asia. And yeah, those are also going down as well. IT shares for some reason, so like any tech stocks seem to have rebounded within Asia, but everything else seems to be relatively negative and also going down by huge amounts of points. I also looked for any type of, we typically get like futures news from the American stock market, and that, I mean, is slightly accurate. It tends to show us exactly where cryptocurrency prices are going to go. I did not know this. Apparently, the stock market is actually closed for Juneteenth. I think this is the first time that they're going to be observing it as well. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, take the time out of your day to go educate yourself as to this event and what it means. But yeah, the stock market in America is actually going to be closed today for Juneteenth. It's a day after, but they're still going to be observing it. So I was shocked that the cryptocurrency market kind of moved on its own, because normally if the futures show that we are going to be going down, we also go down. If futures show that stock markets may recover on Monday, we usually typically recover on Monday. So the 25% move for us was like, whoa, okay. It's nice to see the crypto market moving on its own. Tying directly, I would say, into price news as well. It says Binance has purchased around 101,266 Bitcoin, while the price of Bitcoin is hitting its low this morning. Stay with me. The price of the world's largest cryptocurrency slumped down to its lowest price of the year. On Saturday, the crypto market experienced a massive fall in the price of its leading token. The Bitcoin price plunged to lower than that, 19,000, recording the lowest price of the year, along with Bitcoin and Ethereum also seeing a slump in price. And I do quote, amid this crash, the world's largest crypto exchange bought nearly 100,000 BTC tokens. The exchange used a Bitcoin wallet with the number that's on the screen. That's way too long for this transaction. It is a cold storage wallet, according to the BitInfoCharts website. I want to see if anybody caught that. I'll give you about 4.5 seconds to see if you caught that. So, the major news was during the dip in the cryptocurrency market's prices, Binance purchased over, it says 101,266 Bitcoin. This, I believe, was the catalyst for the price moving back up, that the largest exchange on the planet had purchased a huge amount of Bitcoin, and this news spread like guacamole on a piece of toast. You weren't expecting me to say that, but I said it. Everyone was clamoring about it, couldn't believe it, because we've also seen very similar news to all these rich people being like, hey, look at what we bought, prices are low, ha 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 ha, and something along that line. This was kind of everywhere news. And then, lo and behold, this also became very quick news. Binance's co-founder and CEO Changpeng Zhao confirmed in a tweet on Monday that the company did not buy, that is NOT buy, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin over the weekend, as reported by the media. Binance purchased the dip and acquired 101,266 Bitcoin. This is according to at least two news outlets. No, it was a lot. It was a lot more than that. This was everywhere news on the weekend. Citing moves to a Binance cold wallet. On Monday, Zhao tweeted, another false article. A rise in Binance cold wallet suggested more people have deposited money in Binance. Whoever wrote this article, the initial article, was looking at Binance's cold wallet that they have on the exchange, as opposed to like Binance's actual personal wallet, which probably is completely unknown because it doesn't really have to do with Binance, the crypto exchange. It's more Binance, the company. And they looked at that wallet and saw that during the price downtrend, everything collapsing price-wise, people were putting their money onto Binance, perhaps in an effort to sell off their coins before prices went lower. However, the increase in that wallet that people in the Binance ecosystem use to move coins in and out of it rose. Someone wrote an article, this is great, Binance purchased $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and then subsequently the Bitcoin price actually went up. I checked everywhere. I checked, and I'll give it a good 20 or so minutes around the cryptocurrency space for news. And there was no other indication of anything that was happening that would have or could have triggered a price increase. I don't particularly believe that people around the world were trading Bitcoin. The price hit a low price where we were yesterday. And then everyone came together and was like, oh no, prices are too low, and then began to buy like madmen. Also, I don't think this will ever go away, but it's kind of just where we are right now. The fact that people would not buy simply because they saw that the price was low worries me. The fact that the constant fear keeps striking the market and so many people in the space don't understand. I get it. I understand, cool. But don't get that this is kind of the not financial advice. That usually when prices are lower, this is usually the time for people to accumulate. But off of false news from one person who wrote an article who does not understand the cryptocurrency space. Like if you don't know the difference between an exchange wallet, a cold wallet, and a hot wallet, you probably should not be writing articles about it, and other people should not be mimicking what that article said. But off of this fake news that we got, like literal, actual, this news is not real news, we went up by 25%. Imagine if it went up by 25% simply because of the basis of usage and how the network works and how many people are mining Bitcoin and how many people are using it on a daily basis and the actual adoption rate. What if it was actual real usage as opposed to being like, oh, the largest crypto exchange on the planet bought coins? Remember before, this is even, half a year ago at this point, whenever we had news about Elon Musk buying Bitcoin, or he would say the word Bitcoin or Dogecoin in a tweet, and the price would rise. And I'm like, why would the price, I'm trying not to say the S word, and you know exactly, it starts with S and T. Why are people that way? Why is it that you hear that a crypto exchange bought something and that you immediately rush to go buy? What makes Binance so significant or Elon Musk or anyone else so significant that you have to hear that they are accumulating for you to do so. It's such a bad, and it's not a trend. It's bad that we have this in our markets. It means our markets don't move by themselves. Our markets are purely just hype. There is no actual, the sad part is there is actual usage. People are using these things all the time. We have trillions of dollars at work per week on these networks. Anyway, reeling it back in. Yeah. So the news that I believe that actually caused prices to actually jump up was completely fake. There was no other news. There was no other buying news from any other billionaire. There was no other accumulation news. There was no new launch of an ETF or an ETN or an ETP. There was nothing. It was simply the news that allegedly Binance had purchased billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And all that happened was people were depositing it onto their website. Because I don't believe that a relief rally would have been 25% for the majority of coins. But alas, here we are. Yeah, that's all the price news. And as this news of Binance not actually buying the dip, because it would not be through their normal wallet, it would be through the company's wallet that we would not see or have access to because it's them as a company. Yeah. Prices have already begun to slightly go down. Nothing too dramatic. But yeah. It's really a shame that it's just like, look at tweet, move. Do something, move money. Buy something, look at this. They said that, I need more. As opposed to being like, oh, this could actually be the gigantic financial payments network of the future. It is what it is. Anyway, that's the price news, at least for what we have right now. Always never a dull day in the cryptocurrency space. Yeah. Let's move on. Also, this is actually quite popular news as well. Despite data showing that Bitcoin's price may have fallen to the point of being unprofitable for the average person mining it, Marathon Digital Holdings says it will continue working to accumulate the leading crypto asset. Charlie Schumacher, VP of Corporate Communications at Marathon Digital, told Cointelegraph that while the company isn't immune to the macro environment, that's everything going on, it is fairly well insulated and well positioned to weather the current downturn due to the low cost of operations and fixed price for power. This is very important. This is why people are still mining and turning on their computers. It's a bit of a weird event happening. It says, for reference, in quarter one of this year, the first 3 or 4 months, our cost to produce a Bitcoin was approximately $6,200. We also have a fixed pricing for power, so we are not subject to changes in the energy markets. Remember, we were slightly talking before about the idea of what it costs to mine a Bitcoin. It's a mathematical number. People get, it costs X to mine a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price is currently this price. And therefore, if we keep our machines on, regardless of how low Bitcoin goes, we can still mine it because we will still be profitable regardless of what happens. And this is why it's very important that we see the price of Bitcoin falling, but people are continuing to keep their machines plugged in because situations like this are happening. If it costs $6,000 to mine a Bitcoin and Bitcoin even falls down to $15,000, you are still making $9,000 off of that Bitcoin. Therefore, it's still incredibly profitable. But I think they're one of the largest mining companies that's kind of out there. And I think there's been a fear of people unplugging their computers because of where prices might be at this current time. But this is, once again, to end this thought. When people are starting a mining corporation or a mining company, 9 out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they typically know exactly how much they have to pay for electricity. Like there's like an exact number that they get if they're going to be using hydroelectricity or some other electricity power from some other near neighboring country or whatever they might be getting it from. They tend to write contracts with each other. We will sell you this kilowatt per hour over the course of the next 3 years per Bitcoin that you're mining. And they go, cool, they shake hands. There normally isn't a hyper fluctuating value to it. We saw that before years ago, and these people pack up their machines and they go, okay, this was terrible. They shake hands and then they go on their way. and then they find another place that gives them a profitable, normal, average amount that will continue to come in at all times. So I think, I don't know if people, maybe, I mean, it's fair to assume that a lot of people simply may not know the money workings of Bitcoin mining. A lot of people may have even just heard that like it costs money to mine a Bitcoin. They know exactly how much it costs, and they also know, how profitable it's going to be, because, Bitcoin mining typically isn't a large portion of the news. If it is, it's usually this miners are unplugging their computers, and therefore that is the most terrible thing that's kind of happening. So yeah, this is why we remember 2 or 3 weeks ago we had news that the hash rate had hit a brand new all-time high, because even after falling, a lot of people are still expecting prices to go back up. These people who are mining Bitcoin aren't just brand new people who bought 100,000 computers. They talk to banks, they talk to institutions. They know what's going on, and they know the price projections for these coins. If you've never watched like a documentary of someone who has like a gigantic mining farm, they're in it for the long haul. It's not, I'm here for 2 years to make a huge amount of profit, because normally after 9 months, these operations become profitable. Like they put forth 3, 4, 5 million to begin the operation, and then after that, they've already made their money back. And when you talk, you not personally talk to a lot of them, but when you see them talking, they're like, yeah, we are establishing ourselves for the next 30 to 40 years in this base, because we're expecting Bitcoin's price to go to X, Y, and Z, $1.9 million. And it's like, when we do eventually get to a point, if, I dare say if, Bitcoin's price went to, imagine Bitcoin's price went to $180,000 this year. Crazy number, but just, imagine that number in your head. It would still cost this company $6,200 to mine a Bitcoin. That's kind of how it works. And this is why you see these operations becoming so large, because they know exactly, okay, we can buy 14,000 more computers and we'd still be extremely fine and wouldn't have lost any money. So yeah, the mining companies are here to stay. They understand the long-term prospects of it, and this is why they're making these gigantic mining farms. Anyway, yeah, that's the mining news. This was also relatively popular. It's this news, and I'm a rich person still buying Bitcoin, look at me kind of news that keeps making the rounds, and everyone's like, oh, thank goodness that these rich people are still in the market, because I don't know why people care about them so much, because they don't care about you. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin mining news. Sure. Let's move on. Okay, and this is clearly something coordinated right now. On the 18th of June, a major DDoS attack, or a denial of service assault, targeted Tether, one of the world's biggest cryptocurrencies. I don't think Tether's whatever. By market cap, Tether's chief technical officer, Paolo Ardoino, tweeted that the company had received a ransom demand from hackers who had breached its network. As he stated, this isn't the first time a request like this has come in. So, backing it up. Remember when I told you about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said something with the Terra Luna thing seems a little bit too weird for me? And the news that I had received, or that I was getting from the internet, was that allegedly the Terra Luna thing had a bunch of liquidity inside of it. People had deposited Bitcoin, because remember the Terra Luna people were like, we have purchased a huge amount of Bitcoin. The news that we received, or that I saw, was that apparently a contributor to that huge amount at some point removed their coins from the ecosystem, what have you. And that began the first depegging of the coin. Something else went wrong. Someone else allegedly took out money. That also caused the further depegging, and then eventually everything completely collapsed. After that happened, a couple of hours after that happened, a number of other stablecoins also began to lose their peg, had begun to announce on Twitter or other places that they had either been attacked, or something was wrong, or something was going on. And I thought the series of events was a bit too timely. Normally, when we have something major happening in the cryptocurrency space, it's typically, oh, wow, look at that terrible event that's happening over the last 6 weeks. I can't believe it. But only stable coins were targeted, or have been targeted in the last couple of weeks. Of course, other things have happened. to other coins, but there seems to be, I think my theory has basically come true now. Someone, and it's usually a country. If you haven't been, and I'll have to choose my words very lightly here, there are estimates that in the future, the word RAW, but backwards, will apparently be done on the internet, i.e., cyber, the word that I just gave you, kind of will be the main thing that we will see in the future. That's kind of the idea. It's been estimated by a number of analysts and scholars and what have you. We've seen before that a country that's currently in the news right now that is causing a major conflict that they should not be doing and was the beginning of the reason why the stock market fell down. That one has been doing things like this, DDoS attacks and denial of service attacks, and also RANSOM events quite often as well. This is at least the alleged news that we've been getting, but apparently these have been ramping up. Not that it's just them, but just giving you an example of what we ourselves as humans know is currently taking place on the interwebs. I do not know who is responsible for this. I mean, outrightly saying it, I have no actual idea. But it seems a bit weird that this keeps happening more and more every single day. There's also other depegging news and also attacking news also in the news as well. Tether is the largest stablecoin that we have out there. I believe that this is a concerted, and I mean a multi-pronged effort across the globe by people with a lot of power who are trying to get people to stop using these coins. Years ago, it was simply an attack with words, if you will, i.e., people would simply write articles. Tether is this, Tether is that, Tether doesn't have the backing, Tether doesn't have so-and-so, Tether is blah, 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 this stablecoin is terrible, Circle is doing this, why is USTT doing that? It was always something. And they persisted for five years or so at this point, where basically every article was talking about they didn't have their reserves or they didn't have this, or there were always like fake scandals where the CEO of some company, of a stablecoin company, had done something illicit, but none of these things were ever substantiated. They were simply like the Binance news earlier. Someone wrote it, it sounded hot enough, and everyone kind of copied it and went all over the internet. Then eventually people looked into it and found that it was completely false, like the Tether thing. A lot of times the idea was Tether doesn't have enough money to have all their backings. How can you have billions of dollars worth of Tether without any backings? And they showed on multiple occasions, just woke up, sorry, that they actually do have the backings for their funds. But now the new trend this year seems to be, let's attack the protocol directly. If people are not going to stop using these things, because once again, we are still seeing nearly, if not every country on the planet talking about creating their own stablecoin now. And I need to reiterate that. Not a central bank digital currency, but they're talking about releasing their own stablecoins through a bank. The bank is going to only be able to offer so much as an interest rate. I told you this before. Even for the new digital coins that will come out, that they'll try and get you to use on this new app and all this other nonsense, the stable coins that we have right now are actually stronger than a lot of fiat currencies. Think about that. They haven't been around for any more than 2, 3, 4 something years, but they offer a higher interest rate. They're stable, if you will, mimicking the usage of this thing, and it's also worldwide. There's no delay in sending your money anywhere. You can send it from Vancouver to Tokyo to South Africa to Beijing to Alaska in about 18 seconds, depending on how quick your fingers are to be able to copy and paste that address and send it somewhere. This DDoS attack does not seem random at all, because we keep getting news that all these stable coins are having a hard time, and I don't think that it's simply someone being like, oh, let's do this because it sounds like fun. No, this is completely deliberate because they're trying to essentially destroy portions of our market to make it unstable, to make it untrustworthy, to basically say, well, Tether didn't work out, Terra Luna didn't work out, that coin didn't work out, but look at what we have. You must see the ramping up of comments of regulators and other rich people who made their money from the old financial system talking about, well, Bitcoin's terrible. I knew it was going to fall. Well, yeah, it's going to crash a lot lower because they only stand to make money from the old system. They're incentivized to make sure that they keep talking negatively about our system so that they and their families continue to keep making money while we don't. That's why all this seems so really weird, because it keeps happening over and over. After the assault, the stablecoin site, here we go. They received 8 million requests per minute. This significantly differs from the average of 2,000 requests every 5 minutes. The way that you do a DDoS attack, for those of you who don't know, a denial of service attack is, at any given time, let's say you have a giveaway going on your website. You normally receive maybe about 100 clicks per hour, somewhere around there. Cool, average number. You have the giveaway going on, and for some reason you get around 5,000 people trying to enter your website at once. This is why when you've gone to certain websites, it's like website down, error, because there's too many people basically trying to go through the little tube at one time. Nice way of thinking about it. During a typical DDoS attack, they'll kind of send waves of requests to your website one after the other, basically blocking the service. It is a DDoS, a denial of service attack, to the actual website. 2,000 per 5 minutes is the normal number that you typically will read about. 8 million per minute is coordinated by multiple parties. You don't go from, hear the difference in this. Hey, do you have money in your bank account? Yeah, I have $2,000 in my bank account. Hey, do you have money in your bank account? Yes, I have $8 million in my bank account. Bit of a difference, just in the sound of it. 8 million requests per minute is someone trying to destroy this coin. Keeping in mind, this was, I believe, just on their website, basically trying to get people to stop using it. And this is why I think other stable coins will have to become hyper decentralized as well. I think this is not the first time. I mean, it says that it's not the first time that it's happened to them. But I think that the reason why we've seen Tether going on to, I think it's on Bitcoin, it's on Ethereum, it's on Tron. I don't know if it's on Cardano. I think some of it might be on EOS. It's on multiple different blockchains, and they keep announcing every couple of months that it's going to be on a newer blockchain as well, is to kind of protect yourself from what we saw the other stable coins having to go through. The idea basically being, if you are on only one chain, you're a sitting crypto duck in the water. If you're across 50 other chains, it's kind of difficult for people to be able to really stop you in the issuance of your coin on these other chains as well without destroying the entire ecosystem, which is quite difficult to do. Anyway, yeah, this is something's going on. We may never know explicitly what's happening, but this is definitely an attack on our market. The ramping up of people talking negatively about our markets, talking about that it's time for regulations now when we didn't have regulation. The amount of regulations and what they're talking about regulating has to do with all the attacks. Pay attention to how people are talking about stuff and what exactly they're talking about. They're not talking about regulating the prices dipping or falling down or consumer protection. They're talking about stable coins and how we need to get them under control. Why? Why not before? Why is it now? Why is it that during all these why is no one from a governmental body looking into the actual attacks as opposed to the actual collapse of said coin? Something very weird is going on. But as I told you before, last thought, resiliency in the cryptocurrency space is quite spectacular. Years ago, I remember hearing and seeing people talking about the idea of people attacking the cryptocurrency network. And I didn't really understand it until I see everything that's kind of going on now. One of the main takeaways is that years ago, whenever a coin or a system was attacked, another new coin was birthed from it. and that one became more decentralized. If that one had a problem, it would disappear, and another new coin would appear from the ashes of that one, and kind of, be in the top 10, be in the top 15, be in the top 20, because you can't get rid of an idea. The idea of a stable coin is kind of here basically with us forever now. And if the other stable coins begin to fall, there will be people behind the scenes who understand what they need to do different to make the system more resilient. And it appears that algorithmically pegging your coin to $1 doesn't seem to be it. It seems to be the actual reserved assets that you have kind of backing the coin that make the difference. So the next iteration, because there will be, the next iteration of decentralized stable coins that we will see will be stronger and faster and better than the ones that we had before. Will know how to be resilient to attacks. It will be across hundreds of different chains. And yeah, just a matter of the fact that we are happening to go through this right now. Anyway, that's this was not an accident or a mistake. This was planned news. 8 million. That is that's big government trying to get rid of a stable coin kind of energy. That is not random. You don't get to 8. You know how much computing power you need for 8 million? Anyway, that's the Tether news. Let's move on. Also, tying directly into this as well, the Tron ecosystem had a major blow last week when the USDD stablecoin lost its $1 peg. This led to concerns among traders as USDD was launched last month as a rival to Terra's UST, an algorithmic stablecoin. Another depegging of a similar asset also meant that Tron's price also dropped for a bit thereafter. On Sunday, the stablecoin fell once again to 93 cents. It's supposed to be $1 before regaining to 95 cents. As of writing, the stablecoin is trading at 95 cents, down 0.70% in the last 24 hours, according to Coin Market Cap. This was also quite popular news as a lot of people still stand behind Tron. I've been telling you about this coin for years. The idea was USDD was meant to take over from what Terra Luna was doing, shoving it to the side and saying, hey, ours was better. It's also an algorithmic stablecoin that just apparently does not work. I'm not sure what that algorithm is, but that ain't it, buddy. So this was also in the news. There's constant discussions about the Terra Luna fiasco. It's tied into the Tether thing as well. I think there was one other stable coin that also had problems about a day or two ago. So they're kind of just lining up. This isn't random. These are governments trying to do this because they're planning on launching their own coins very soon, but no one will use them. If people realize that they have launched a stable coin and news gets out very quick, oh, there's also a stable coin from a government, from a company that's doing a lot better. Anyway, let's get away from this news. That's the Tron coin has lost its depegging. I don't know what else to really say. This was also quite popular news. Moving along. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and Let's Move On, Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben, Arachno Dave, Tony Ambrosi, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Nita Miracle, Pat Ternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd, Mullis, Adam, Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anytime Fitness, Mong's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, On Crypto with Lionel, Tigger Macho Nisa, Bake Me a Cake, and Crayola Michelle URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, who left a comment, who has subscribed, or is still here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At the moment, Bitcoin is at $19,935. It is up by 8.74% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is up by 11% in the last 24 hours. A lot of the coins are, of course, in green, except for the stable coins. They're meant to be stable at around roughly $1. Solana is up by 10%. Polkadot is up by 4%. Anything like double digits. Litecoin is up by 11%. Uniswap is up by 12%. Anything else crazy? I don't think so. Hedera is up by 9%. Okay, ApeCoin is up by 11%. Elrond eGold is up by 18%. KuCoin is up by 10%. Zcash is up by 12%. Yeah, and Maker's up by 20%. It's nice to see the coins in green. Just a matter of we got to wait to see where the rest of the week ends up taking us, because you know, the world is currently a financial mess. So we'll see exactly what happens as the days roll on. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.